bunch of panelists, Mr. Andy Ken, Mr. Yudi Prajaksa from PMG Hotel and Resorts, and Ms. Nina Zan, a legendary in the hotel industry. With our panelists, they will be talking about a crisis topic. Is it a threat or opportunity? Okay, before we start this seminar, we would like to thank all the participants for taking your time to attend this webinar. During the presentation, participants are encouraged to type in any questions or queries you have in the Q&A box below. The addressing of the questions will be done by the speaker at the end of the presentation. So let us start our Virtual Summit 2020 version 2 with Mr. Sheldon Maniam from Trust You with his topic on 5 ways to prepare for reopening and recovery. Mr. Sheldon.
Hi, Isha. Good morning. Thank you so much. Selamat pagi, ibu-ibu dan bapa-bapa. Thank you so much for your time this morning. We are going to share, or rather, I'm going to share a little bit about of what we have prepared in Trust You. 5 ways to prepare for reopening and recovery. Please feel free to ask questions. I think you can raise hands and you can ask questions in the chat box. So please free to ask questions and we can address all your questions right after this particular presentation. First and foremost, just let me see, I'm not too good in Zoom. Here you go. This is me. This is when my beard is still very, very short. Now I'm growing them because of coronavirus, just like everybody else. Unfortunately, I can't seem to grow my hair. It's all because of gravity. You know, it falls down. So yeah, it's not my fault. So I'm Sheldon, and I work for Trust You in APAC. I take care of sales here. So let me bring you the very first slide. I would like to introduce you something that we have created in Trust You. It's called the Global Travel Health Index, THI in short. Now, this THI is basically a KPI that we have developed based on our database that we have. It basically benchmarks your current review activity with normal levels of 2019. Now, looking at this particular trend alone, this is based on global, yeah, once again, looking at the trend alone, we can see exactly how this trend is moving downwards already since January. It very much happened. I think China was the very first first country basically to close, to lockdown, followed by many other nations out there as well. Then last but not least, Americas and Europe, when you see they started locking down, then you see the graph moving downward as well. There's a slight increase when you look at April 13 onwards. I will show you the next slide, how that contributed to Asia Pacific. If you look at the Asia Pacific trend, again, 13 April onwards, if you notice, there is a slight increase in the Travel Health Index. Why? If you move on to the next slide, we are able to look at countries. So I selected a few countries in here and try to notice where exactly this chart is has an impact. And the one area that we can notice for sure would be China. So as we all know, China has basically has stopped the lockdown, and therefore we have seen an increase now in the Travel Health Index. Okay, so I drill down even further, looking at dates. China basically ends a lockdown on the 6th of April, the week of 6th of April, and then you can see a much steeper growth for China. So people are traveling. Now, if I zoom in directly into China, all right, we want to see cities in China. We have noticed that Sanya has got the biggest growth, and Sanya as a destination is one of the most popular destination amongst tourists in China, domestic market. So they are basically seeing a lot of increase when it comes to domestic market traveling. It basically tells us that you know, in big countries like Indonesia is one good example. The domestic market will definitely bounce back faster than any other markets out there. So that is basically what we have when it comes to data that we want to share with you. Everything that is shown you with regards to Travel Health Index is also available on our website. So if you want more details on Travel Health Index, feel free to go to our website, and all the details are there. You can break it down even to countries or even to region. Now, the very first point, expect a more cautious and selective booking behavior. Things have basically changed now. The way we book, the way we eat, the way we even go out in public, everything has changed. The one thing has changed when it comes to the world of ORM, reputation management, is sentiments. If you look at the sentiments that we have pulled from our reports, um, clean seems to be uh, topping up the chart now. You know, there are a lot more mentions with regards to cleanliness, COVID, or even virus since the whole entire pandemic started. Some of the keywords used would be cancel, clean, corona, cough, COVID, fever, hygiene, mask, outbreak, pandemic, safe, okay, secure, sanitize. These are some of the major sentiment that has been used since January till to date. And I'll show you exactly, I have three examples of an actual reviews used during the pandemic. The very next slide basically tells us about the number of COVID keywords in APAC. Okay, so it has been steadily maintaining at a certain number, so about close to 250,000. However, we have seen a decline in APAC, right? In from March 16 onwards, and a further decline in March 23rd. This is basically mainly due to the lockdowns in Asia Pacific. What's interesting is that when we deep dive further and look into the numbers again, cleanliness basically contribute to majority, so about 85% of the whole entire keywords in Asia Pacific. We've also done some studies, and we have also noticed a lot of hotels. We have seen some growth in numbers. That is not because of guests traveling. A lot of these hotels are also made into quarantine hotels, right? So based on quarantine hotels, there are also people are also reviewing quarantine hotels. Somewhat other, it's true. I've seen them. I've seen some of them on TripAdvisor as well. Okay. Point number two: we need to communicate openly and honestly, and it's extremely important. Why? Because number one, during time of crisis, we need to ensure we need to be honest. Okay, don't ever try to sweep anything under the carpet. Honesty is always the best policy. Number two, let your guests know exactly what you're dealing with and how you're managing the problem. It's all about managing expectations, right? So even before COVID happens, like for me and my colleague Alex Tan, my boss, when we speak about managing online reputation management, it's again all about managing expectations of your guests and providing the best guest experience to them, right? So again, here is always important for you to communicate with your guests. Number three, offer sincere apologies if you can, or when you can, right? So, and compensate them with any other means that you can, vouchers or whatever you have. These are some examples of what guests have written during this whole entire pandemic. One example would be staff very friendly and helpful. At the time of traveling, the hotel had 10% occupancy due to coronavirus. So notice the word coronavirus there. This one even more detailed because they also know that it's only 10% occupancy. Number two, there was a staff coughing at breakfast. She wore a mask, but was very worried because it was the new coronavirus. It's again, today coughing is a sin in public. It's scary when you cough. Like for me, so if I have to cough, I hold it as long as I can. Go to somewhere private and cough. I can and cough all I want, and then go out again. So here, if you notice, the keywords used are basically like things like mask. The sentiment uses a mask, coughing, the new coronavirus. I would like to have been notified that the previous guest was diagnosed with coronavirus. Now, there have been cases. I mean, one good example was Singapore. I think there were hotels in Singapore that was really affected first. So we had a lot of guests coming from China, and because of that, some of them were infected, and they were infected in the hotel. And I think a lot of guests were not satisfied the fact that they were not notified that they have people in the hotel has coronavirus. Okay, it's always good to again communicate with all our guests. Point number three, it's important for us to prioritize health and safety above all else. Security is the new currency. I'm sure every one of us would have already heard the term the new normal, right? It's the word the new normal is now the new normal already. Um, some of the things that we need to ensure, security is the new currency. The one, communicate before arrival. Really, really important. Again, it's all about communication. It's important for you to be transparent and proactive about the security measures that you are taking for your properties. Okay, of course, it also helps to reduce cancellation. And then again, I think last week, yeah, when Andy had a session as well, he spoke about managing cancellation. You know, have a lot more relaxed cancellation as well during this pandemic period. Point number two, um, is always is always important for you to enable your guests to be able to contact any one of your staff during their stay, and the ability to ask direct questions. Okay, so if you don't already have a platform, a guest messaging platform for you to communicate directly with guests, I would suggest for you to start looking for it. You know, I will show you in a few slides of some data about how important is it to communicate with the guests directly while they are in house. Now we're doing all this, number one, to boost consumer confidence. Some of the things that I think would be very much the new normal would be body temperature checks, hand sanitizers, the use of disinfectant, or even providing schedules in the hotel so people can see and they feel safe being in a hotel. The next slide I want to show you would be, I want to share with you something that I've got from News Straight Times, a local media here in news media here in Singapore. They are now currently using technology to battle COVID-19, right? So if you can see the pictures on the left of the screen, they are using robots to sanitize. The one on the right, basically, you see it's a sunburst UV board. These are being used, I think, I saw in the news, it's used in the mall here in Singapore. It is also used in hospitals as well. So they basically activate the robot at night where it actually goes around and disinfect bacteria along the mall. The one thing that would potentially change as well in the hospitality industry, perhaps hotels would be investing in such a technology as well for their properties. Um, I have asked this question as well I sent this to Andy, asked Andy this question, you know, would he invest into sunburst UV board? Andy, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. So would you actually invest into a technology as such to help clean or sanitize your properties?
Simple, bro. Do I have a choice? So
Yeah,
it's not really a matter of adopt it or not, yeah, but how soon you can afford to adopt.
yeah,
But
exactly. I mean, it's the new normal have changed a lot of perspective, a lot of thinking, a lot of the way we operate a property as well. Again, prioritizing cash flows, where do we spend next, you know, or should we even spend? But in cases like this, if you ever have the capability to spend on technology that will help you clean your properties even further, if you do it, I would suggest publish it. You know, let people know that you're doing such taking such measurement, and they feel safe going into your properties. Point number four, highlight outdoor activities and events. It's important for you, number one, to refocus on guest attention. Okay, how do you do that? Always remember to promote your impact scores. And it's always important for you to display the excellent badges in all the relevant categories on your website. Because again, people need assurance, right? So like for me, even, even now, when I go out, when I go to the mall, like we have a program, or rather a website, that we can actually track whether the mall is crowded, supermarkets are crowded, or anywhere else is crowded. So in things like that, I will go in there and I want to have assurance that it's not crowded, and I will go and get whatever I need to get, immediately come back home, because I don't want to risk staying out too long. Coronavirus is not a joke. It's a serious matter. So I need assurance. So likewise, a lot of guests, when they check into the properties, I'm sure they want a lot of assurance. Now, talking about a new normal, as a business, as Trust You, we are also looking into implementing changes to cater to the current demand. or cater to the current situation. Now, this is the next slide basically shows you what we have in planning. It is not ready yet. Okay, disclaimer, it's not ready yet. Even the design is just basically an idea for the time being. So we are planning to develop something like this, a verified cleanliness badge. Okay, basically to certify that your properties is clean, hygiene. So whatever is basically progress in making. We're talking to a few partners out there to help us out in developing the badges. That's one. We will also potentially maybe look at the sentiments and how we can incorporate the sentiments course into the cleanliness badge. Okay, so once again, this is project in the making. We are also looking into changes, especially in this really difficult time now. Once again, always important for you to remember to collect actionable insights, encourage and always ask for on-site feedback. Okay, so this will basically help you to fix issues on the spot and avoid any negative impressions, as well as jeopardize any of your guest safety or well-being. That is really important. Number two, once you have your on-site feedback, always remember to analyze your post-stay reviews and maintain a positive reputation. Okay, actively manage every single one of negative feedback, respond to them so that you can also grow and provide the best customer experience ever. Number three, I don't need any further elaboration for this. Keep an eye on your competition. Point number four, leverage on the different semantic analysis and impact scores. Identify areas in the hotel that influence the review scores, most negative and positive. So in this case, service, hygiene. So for those of you who already are working with any kind of ORM partners out there, my advice for you is if you can collect data, if you can look at your semantics from January 2020 to date, right? So let's take now May or April. So January to April 2020 versus what you have from last year, January to April as well. You do comparison and you see the amount of changes there are. I think in revenue management, I'm not an expert in revenue management. I think Andy will be the best to talk about this probably later on. If you look into revenue management as well, if you notice the chart, whenever you have a crisis, the chart will also eventually change, and how the recovery period, how long does it take? So that's how you need to study data as well. So implement the right data, looking at the right semantics will definitely help you to grow further, or to even open up even faster and bounce back faster in the during this pandemic period. Point number five, track the performance score. Allows you to compare development scores in a specific time frame. So it's important for you to always keep a good track on your performance. It's always important to set KPIs for your teams so that they always maintain a good, healthy level of score. That's where you want to also have them advertise on your website. Now, why real-time feedback is important? I have some numbers for you. We talk about basically having a messaging platform to help communicate with your guests. So 80% of the guests expects a hotel to initiate a contact, right? 70% of them prefers to communicate via digital channel. So when we talk about digital channel, it could be Facebook Messenger, it could be web chat, WeChat, WhatsApp, whatever means that they feel comfortable talking or chatting with you. 27% of the guests basically visits website to search for information. 91% of the guests are willing to communicate issues during the stay. Now, we have done a few research on properties that has already an on-site solution with them. They collect real-time feedback. When they look at the reviews, or when they action on the reviews or comments or the survey that they have while guests are in-house, they see a much better improvement when the guest leave a post-stay survey. Okay, so always good to firefight during guest stay, so that they will always leave a much better reviews after they check out. It's 3.8 times RPS. RPS basically stands for review per stay. It encouraged a lot more reviews from guests, because again, it's all about engagement. You are a lot more engaged with your guests. So it's important for you to stay engaged before they travel, while they're in the hotel, and after they check out. And 75% of them basically we see increase in the feedback volume as compared to post-stay surveys. Last but not least, point number 5, keep an even closer eye on feedback than before. So first point, encourage on-site feedback in order to properly assess the situation through guest perspective. Number 2, always show interest in your guest experience and offer some personalized solution, because when you start communicating with guests, you already know, you perhaps would have the database with them already. So you already know what they like, what they don't like. So it's always good to personalize. Every guest is unique. That's how I believe. That's what I believe in hospitality trade. Point number 3, analyze past reviews and feedback received during previous time of crisis. And you should determine what the guest experience and how they expect you to handle the situation. That's really, really important. Managing expectations, right? So how do you manage expectations? Read exactly what the guest is talking about you. The next one, I want to share with you a quote by Forbes. Hospitality is one of the world's oldest industry and has experienced more than its fair share of global disasters. We have been through a lot. I think even before this session, we were talking to Nina, who is basically a pioneer in the industry. We all have huge respect.
A dinosaur.
No,
Don't
no,
sugarcoat your
dinosaur
words.
is not a right word. A pioneer, whom we dearly love and we respect a lot in the industry. We have been through so much of crisis. You know, Bali alone as an island has gone through so much with volcano, with terrorism, with wars outside, external factors, and now with the pandemic of coronavirus. But the one thing that's good is that we remain resilient as an industry, and that's basically my thoughts overall. I want to stay positive. It's hard. I want to be honest. No, it's not easy. Whatever we are going through today is never easy, but there's hope. That there's definitely a lot of hope. The fact that we have gone through so much, we will go through this together. And I think one of the ways that we can go through this together is every one of us work together hand in hand, sharing of information, sharing of data. That would help us grow. Some of my key takeaways. Point number 1, expect a more cautious and selective booking behavior. Point number 2, communicate openly and honestly. Point number 3, prioritize health and safety above all else. Highlight outdoor activities and events. Last but not least, point number 5, keep an even closer eye on feedback than before. With that said, I'm just going to leave you with a quote from Trust You, The Power to Listen. When companies listen to feedback, they earn trust, make better decisions, and ultimately succeed. Right. So this is a quote that we believe in dearly, sincerely, and we have built the business based on the power to listen. We have listened to all our clients, all our partners, all consumers accordingly, and we have developed what we need to develop, and that's where we are sharing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sheldon, for your sharing. I agree with you on having our guests to be able to contact hotel staff during their stay through a real-time online platform. That will be the best. Let's look at the Q&A. Is there any Q&A questions from the floor? Participants, you are encouraged to type in any questions you have in the Q&A session. If there isn't, we'll move forward to the panel session. But if you have questions in regards to Mr. Sheldon's presentation, please do so. Just keep on writing down. So moving to our panel session, on board we have Ms. Nina Zan, the legendary in the hotel industry, Mr. Andy.
Dinosaur, don't sugarcoat.
No, dinosaur has gone extinct. You're still around. Hey, all right. When we have our Mr. Sheldon, okay, their topic is about, is it a threat or an opportunity? So, Mr. Andy?
Well, start from me. I recently read some statistic from Bernstein, McKinsey, and other consulting companies, and I found a very interesting data actually. In short, every $1.5 spent by foreigners traveling to Indonesia, Indonesian people spend $1 travel overseas. So So because of this lockdown and such, I see an opportunity with these people who cannot spend their money for overseas travel. Yeah, of course, if they still want to travel, they will travel domestically. So I think it's big. Yeah. Uh, the chart from Bernstein summarized that there will be a minus 23% of revenue because yeah, as the data said that every $1.5 spent by foreigners traveling to Indonesia, Indonesian people spend $1 to travel overseas. Yeah, I do not have the data how much actually this revenue that Indonesians spend overseas. Yeah, but I think it's a lot that we can target this the domestic travelers, yeah, as an opportunity, because there will be more domestic traveling, for example, to Bali than ever, yeah, since the lockdown.
Right. Mr. Yudi, what's your take about this? How do you see this as an opportunity?
I think I agree with Andy. But if I look at the more specific into my job, into my role, which is e-commerce,
Yeah.
I think it's the opportunity that we can have that I believe that once the world is recovery, those OTAs or our partners, I think they will be doing a lot of promotion. So by working with them closely, I think we can get their promotion as well to put to ask them to put our hotels and events. Even this can be impacting the billboard effect, which is can impact to our direct booking as well.
Okay.
So I think yeah, in terms of marketing, we can have a lot of promotion with our partner as well.
Okay. I think we have a question down here from Mr. Leo Tan. Why or how do you think that managing a hotel's online reputation is more important than ever after this crisis? Maybe Mr. Sheldon can address this.
Thanks, Leo, for the question. It is so important now that to know again back to the question of knowing the guest sentiment. Every single one of our properties have got are very unique, and every one of them, I choose to believe that every single properties are different from one another. And especially these trying times, it is really important for us to know exactly the type of clients that you have. And one of the ways for you to know and understand the behavior of your clients is by managing your online reputation. So study your data, study your sentiment analysis. Also important to communicate with your guests as well. So communication is key. Always stay active in the communication part. I'm so sorry if you hear dogs barking. So yeah, my dogs, I can't. Yeah.
Hey, I saw your son. Rachel, I saw your son. Fasting. See, I saw your son.
It's your son. Okay, all right. We have Chris who raised his hand. Maybe Chris, I allow you to talk. If you do not wish to talk, if any of the participants who do not wish to type in your questions, you can raise your hand. We'll release you on your audio so you can just verbally talk to us. Mr. Chris, he raised his hand just now. Okay, I think, yeah, I'll unmute him for a while now because I don't think he's online with us right now. So let's go with Miss Nina Zen. Yeah. Okay, you want to share with us about your experiences? You went through a few crises, in fact, big major crises also. You want to share a bit on your experiences and how does it impact the hoteliers?
I think in every crisis there is an opportunity. But I'm speaking more now about Bali as an island.
Yeah.
I really think this is an opportunity for smaller scale hotels to emerge and have a chance to have a fighting chance actually to go and if they have to begin their websites better, their social media better, and to go for their direct bookings. Because my gut feeling on this, if travel does come back to Bali, it will be more targeted to smaller properties. Sorry, Andy, I don't mean there's anything wrong with your property, but the people that travel means they actually do have the money to travel.
Correct.
Because all over the world in this situation with this type of economy, not everybody would have the extra cash to travel. And the people that are going to travel are looking for experiences. And Bali, with its white culture and small, beautiful properties, which are more human, it has a more human feeling to them. If they were to upgrade themselves, this would be the opportunity to take themselves from where they were, e-commerce wise, social marketing wise, whatever the name is, to bring their portfolio up. Okay, we're a small property, we've upgraded ourselves, we've gone through the pandemic, we've got beautiful rooms, luxurious gardens, but not to compromise on rates, because the people coming back will know that they will have to pay. It's not about discounts anymore. If I were managing a 30, 40, 50 hotel room, I would not discount my rates. I would take this opportunity to train every single one of my staff to be a humanized hotelier and train them on perceptions and expectations of the people that are going to come in, and to prepare them that these are guests not visiting you in April 2018, 17 or something like this. These are people that, Jack Daniels and I, we call them the Friends of Bali, people who care about Bali. This is the one that would be coming back to Bali, and these people would expect not a 4-block building. They're not coming for that. They're not. I mean, you're not going to see the masses of travel unless it's China, yeah. The masses of people coming down on the plane, because I think to fly for my mother to fly from Holland now is already double the price. She's got a ticket for September. It's already to the point of double the euro that she pays for her normal holiday. Even if the government subsidize her travel as a senior citizen from Holland to Indonesia. But she's not going to come and stay in a hotel block. She's going to come and enjoy and meet the people. How were you during the crisis? What happened to you? It's a sharing of experiences and coming together. And this is the opportunity for block buildings, hotels to humanize themselves. For smaller properties which do not have the cash to sort of find a way to upgrade themselves. That's what I think. That's what a dinosaur thinks.
Okay, thank you, Miss Nina Zen. I don't think you're a dinosaur. Dinosaur extinct already.
You're very
still
sweet.
living out there.
Yeah, but Nina Zen has a very good point. Yeah, if I mean, hotel rooms across the world is the same. Yeah, it has a aircon, TV, and everything. It is commodity. So it is our job to make it an experience, not just selling a, a hotel room. Yeah, but you absolutely right. Personalization is very important, and also targeting people who already stay with us. Yeah, people who already know us, people who loves Bali.
Yes, because these are the first people that would get on the plane to Bali.
Yeah.
These are the first people, and that's what's most important.
Yeah, I do not have any offense to larger hotels, yeah, but do you really want to pay for the garden, for the
For the
big
swimming
block?
pool.
Yeah, because everything is put into the price.
Right. Okay. We have a question here. Okay, from Marty Uli. He says that what do you think at this moment? There are a lot of hotel offering prices lower than ever. Because yesterday I went down to Agoda itself. I saw, well, Bali for September, the price are really low for some hotels. Yeah, it's very lucrative. You know, it kind of intrigue me to come down to Bali. So, do you think what will be the after effect for the hotel reputation later on?
Bro, you wanna answer, Sheldon?
It's hard.
Catch 22. It's catch 22.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's I mean the part that I was having a discussion as well with Andy, and the one thing that we talk about is that should even a hotel drop the rates, or should the hotel drop the rates, because there is just no demand. There is no demand. So what do we do? And that's one. So the second point that I wanted to, for me, okay, I'm not an expert in revenue management. I've not been in the hotel for a very, very long time. Disclaimer, yeah. So just logical thinking basically tells me one thing as well. Now with the crisis, there's just so many people out there jobless. A lot of people retrench, pay cuts or whatsoever. So the power to spend is no longer the same as what we have in 2019. Would they pay X amount for a 5-star properties, or would they now go lower to a 4-star or even 3-star? So that is it's really one of the most difficult questions to answer. For me, it also depends a lot more on cash flow. Do we have the means to sustain, or do we not have the means to sustain? So if you have an occupancy of 5%, 7%, or 10%, when you say if you drop your rates to 30, 40%, you drop down. Do you have enough even to pay your operating costs? So there's a lot of questions that goes in mind as well. So that is one question that is, I think, for me, it's really difficult for me to say there's even a right or the wrong answer. That's my thoughts. I can't answer that.
Well, in terms of revenue management perspective, well, Mizan says catch 22, yeah, is a dilemma, difficult situation. I'm talking from revenue management perspective. Lowering down your rate by 10%, it will take you 15 to 20% raise in occupancy to have the same revenue. Can you imagine that in a normal situation? I talked to some hotels that selling at 1 million from 4 million. Do you have the occupancy that you expect? No, the occupancy still 1 digit. But they argue, well, but our restaurant we have the revenue that we expect from our restaurant by selling our rooms lower, yeah. So then again, it really depends on your objective, but yes, it will hurt your reputation in a long term if you are 5-star selling at 2-star or 3-star hotel. But then you gotta do what you gotta do, yeah, at this point in time. There's no right or wrong, yeah.
If I can put in my idea, again, I would go back to my database of, let's say, 2-3 years. And basically, I would give, if you, okay, let's say I know Andy from 3 years ago and he spent 2 weeks here, friend. Hey, Andy, if you come back to Bali, I'm going to give you 1 week free stay. No need to stay. At the end of the day, just put in the envelope if something for the service staff. I'm not going to charge you, and make it a heart pulling thing. Yeah, but again, it must be to loyal clients. Basically, if I was still active as the GM, I would give my room for free. Okay, food they pay because food has got a cost for it. Room I would go for free. I wouldn't even compete in whatever prices people are putting down. I would not devalue myself to that level if I was still active as a GM.
I agree, Ms. Zen. The other approach that we can do during this crisis is non-pricing approach. I just talked to my team this morning. We have a loyalty program, right? One night stay can be redeemed by 400 points, and I told my team, why don't we try? You can redeem by 1 point. The average length of stay is 4 to 5 days, anyways. Yeah, so it's like giving them 1 night free, but they actually stay for 5 nights. So we still have 4 nights paid. So it will not hurt your rates. Yeah, it will still protect your rate integrity. Yeah,
yes.
there's a lot of to play with it.
Yeah, and I still remember what you said yesterday. For example, if we don't delete, then we can get some occupancy, for example, 20%. But if we can also maximize our non-room product, perhaps food and beverage as well as the spa, transportation. So if we can get more revenue from the ancillary revenue, so and it can cover our operational costs to survive. So I think I will take that chance. Yeah.
Okay. When I look at the OTAs yesterday displayed 5-star hotels in Bali selling at a 3-star hotel rate. Do you think this is part of their marketing strategy, knowing that nobody is coming in for now? So it's like, it'll be like a talk in a town among themselves. They call their friends. They say, hey, this hotel is having promotion. And it's a talk thing, because I was looking at the month of September. I think they foresee that even in September, people are still not coming, but at least you do think of us as a marketing part, marketing value. What do you think about that?
You're asking who?
I'm asking maybe Yudi.
I don't think that they will have a risk if they are selling hotels room cheaper, because the effect will be with the hotels itself. The OTA still can get the commission, and yeah, and actually it's really attractive. Doing some kind of promotion with low rates.
Yeah, it is very, very attractive. Actually, I was like tempted to go, or tempted to book, but then who knows, right? Maybe in September, this thing is still not over.
What about the cancellation policies? Then maybe you should look into that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, maybe no
Okay, I'll
cancellation.
take your rate, but I'm going to stay in 2021. Do we have a deal or not? I'll pay now.
Yeah, I think that's something that consumer have to look into that.
Some hotel using it as a marketing gimmick.
That's why I'm asking. Yeah,
because I saw this 5-star hotel in Ubud selling 1 million for 2 nights. So I asked my team to call. Until today, we cannot book. They give a lot of excuses. Oh, we will contact you. Oh,
is it online or direct booking?
It's on.
It's direct booking.
Oh, yeah. Direct booking.
We have to contact their reservation, call them or send them email.
Okay. There's a question for Sheldon. Sheldon, are you wrong? Things not there.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Okay, from Eric Tan, as a hotelier, what would you foresee the future of travel trend?
That we should ask to Andy and
Oh, that's yours.
yeah, cause they're hotelier.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay, I can answer that. Well, actually, there's a firm that can certify your hotel. For example, COVID-19, yeah, including Bureau Veritas. They have an office in Jakarta, and they do all the COVID-19 certification for all Melia hotels and some other firms. Yeah, Oyo, I think 2 weeks ago, claim that they have a COVID-19 certification from YACMI. I talked to some association, and they said that they are in a talk with the authorities to have what so-called COVID-19 certification for all hotels. So I think it would be good, yeah, to increase the level of confidence for guests to stay at our hotel.
Okay. There's a question.
There's also an opportunity, yeah, for business to do these audits, COVID-19 certification audit or things like that.
Okay, yeah, because there was a question from Indra here. It's talking about how to register your property to get a certification for cleanliness.
yeah. Let me take that answer. Let me take the question. So,
Right.
with regards to registration of certificate of cleanliness, is basically work in progress. It's not ready yet. Once it's ready, I will reach out to everybody, whoever is in today's list. I will reach out to every one of you all with regards to the certificate of cleanliness, and yeah, we can work from there on.
Okay. There's a question here regarding rates itself. With regards to reduction of rates, do we need to review from a new perspective and what we think the new normal would be? Do you think there will be a new deflate price level, or can we still refer to the old ADRS? Andy?
Let me just skim the question. Sorry, because
Yeah, it's in the webinar chat.
well, from the previous session, right? Should we lower down the rate? We have to understand with regards to the price elasticity of demand. The demand changed not because of the prices at this point in time. Yeah, the demand declined because of many things. People losing job, level of income changes, salary cut, travel restriction, etc., etc. So I think instead of lowering down your rates, you probably doing something else like stay pay. Instead of giving a discount of 33%, you do a campaign, stay free pay 2 or things like that. So it will not become a reference price for the guests. Then again, it's really depend on your objective. Yeah, if you are aiming at short-term goals to get cash flow as much as possible, go ahead. But if you're looking for long-term, I would not suggest a significant reduction in prices.
I think, bro, if I can add on here, looking at I mean, last week you had a session, right? I think with Leo was there with Kai. I think he gave a very holistic picture about what the new normal will look like. I think reduction of rates is not just, I mean, we got to come out of the mindset about pricing. It's not just about reduction of rates. We need to look at different perspective, the macro perspective that contribute to a rate reduction, the macro perspective that contributes to demand and supply. We also need to look into reputation, what the guests are talking about you. we really also need to look into the behavior of the wholesales, the behavior of OTAs, the behavior, I mean, even your own brand.com, traffic, digital marketing. So there's a lot of components that would basically contribute to a decision in us wanting to reduce the rate. So I think we should not just look at one decisive factor. Just because Hotel B next to me is reducing their rate by 50%, I think I should do it as well, because I'm going to lose my market share. I don't think that should be the way. I think, again, it really relies a lot on the guest experience that you're providing to your guests, because people tend to come back to your properties is because of the experience that they have staying in your properties. So we got to look at it in a lot more holistic angle, and then come up with a decision whether or not a price reduction is necessary. If a price reduction is necessary, how long will you do it for? And for how far ahead of a booking you want to do it for? Because ultimately it's all about having a base booking towards recovery. So it's again looking at the whole entire picture and breaking them down into points and see exactly what you need and what you should work on as an action plan. That's my thoughts.
Okay, thank you. There's a question from a lecturer from Trisakti School Tourism. Her question is, what should we do to our students who will graduate this year, since maybe more job available during this situation? She's asking if, yeah, anyone?
Really, Sheldon, trust you have some openings.
I wish we had. What do you think, Andy?
I would say that I should say they should look for hotels that has an internship program for about a year for these fresh new graduates, yeah. And not look for actually paid work, but in internship, and because it's a very good opportunity for these new graduates to actually be part of a crisis as they progress in their career. This is a clear example of how a hotel evolves or makes their way out of a crisis. And if there are any hotels, and should be some hotels, that have open internships for these fresh new graduates, it's a very good learning platform. Again, if the candidate is willing, if the candidate is looking to buy the next BMW, tak boleh lah gitu look at itu. But if he's looking for a career path, I would look for, do you have an internship opening as a cook? Do you have an internship opening as a telephone operator, whatever that you have nowadays in hotels? And this can also become a PR, that a hotel during tough times is opening up internship and working with well-known universities and giving a chance for these students or graduates to actually learn what a crisis, because there will be another chance, of course, not that we want another crisis with a lot. I've been there. But if you are a fresh graduate, you want to put what you learn to practice, you actually need a situation to which you can form your own views. I think an internship program, especially Trisakti.
Yeah, but then again, Ms. Zen, we have to change the mindset. Yeah, this is millennials. Yeah, they want something quicker, big money, quick career path, more entitlements, etc., etc.
Yeah. Mr. Yudi, have anything to add up? Okay. Yeah, in regards to the cleanliness, there's a question here. Is it the hygiene pass, the COVID certification program? Is it really worth it to participate if the situation is still like this? Having a certificate won't help much. Maybe if the government forbids anyone to go out and congregate regardless, correct? we're talking about the hygiene. I think just now Sheldon was explaining about the hygiene
No,
pass.
this one is the one that the hygiene pass is being explained by Andy. I think,
Andy,
right?
yeah.
You give some example about some association that is coming up with the hygiene pass.
The government body. The government body, Andy, on the hygiene pass.
Well, I think that they just in discussion, but there have been private firms that can help with this hygiene audit for COVID-19. As I mentioned, Bureau Veritas. You can just Google Bureau Veritas, and they have the Jakarta office that can help this certification.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because I feel that it's important to get a certification. It gives your guests assurance. Okay, of course you can do more than beyond. Like for example, if they say that every touch point or leave point you need to have a sanitizer. Okay, like where I'm staying right now, we are doing like we clean the lift 3 times daily. They put the timing down there. In the lift itself, we have sanitizer. Yeah, I'm living in a public estate. It's everywhere. I mean, if you can do more and assure your guests, that would be good. But a certificate will be something that you can show to your guests that we are a safe place where you can accommodate, you can ensure your safety. That would be great. Okay, we have the hand rising from Pak Sugeng. Pak Sugeng, maybe I can unmute you. You are...
It's a Sugeng, not Sugeng.
Sugeng. Oh, sorry. Okay. Pak Sugeng, you're on mute right now. Do you want to ask any question to the panelists? Pak Sugeng? Because we encourage the participants to just raise your hand. If you do not wish to type in, you can just raise your hand. You can post your questions. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Oh, okay, that's good. Okay. Well, I used to be hotelier, but moved to the tourism industry since the last 15 years. So I'm now not in your side, but I have a business to you guys. Yeah, I have been listening a bit about what you've been talking about. Basically, if I may say, it's just shortly. I don't want to talk more and okay. It's just to make the meetings more efficient.
Yes.
I would say that decreasing the rate, I don't think this is necessarily. Sorry, I am maybe something that because otherwise, when you want to increase again to get back to normal, it's going to be hard. Yeah, I understand Ibu Nina saying that look, F&B is something that they need to pay. I understand that because there is cost inside. But okay, if you want to stay in the same rate, yeah, then maybe you need to give a value added by saying something that you don't put on the cost, like food and beverage, then you have to pay the cost. And let's say to put on top, what is the value of the room rate, something that is involved in labor, by saying that it's a spa, and then whatever that is in tours, whatever tours that you can do. Well, again, you have the employee, you are paying them anyway. So then I don't think that is going to cost involves more, something like spa or anything. So that is my suggestion. So remain the same with the same rate. And because of if I pay low rate, so we are as the tour operator, we are working based on commission. If you applying, everybody applying a low rate, then our commission is low. But we are interested in really the same rate, but we put the value. Again, so far we are playing on 5-star upmarket. we've been working with Mandapa, Four Seasons, and Capella, and all this stuff. So we don't talk about decreasing the rate, but you know what is the most important these days is cancellation notice. Yeah,
Okay.
we agree that look, we don't care your rates. We don't care. Yeah, we put if you want to put more generous, then put a value added on it. A value added there can be something that without any cost involved, cost involved. So like the spa tours, a walking tour, and bicycling tours. You have bicycle, you have people to ask them to take a walk. Anyway, yeah. Then people asking now, look, what happened if suddenly I don't have flight confirmed? Yeah, suddenly my connection in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong said, no, you cannot fly. Are you still charging us? So this kind of a policy that you need to put in place. This is for B2B. Yeah, I do not B2C. You need to figure it out how it works. Yeah, and on the other thing is that again, this strategy, I think it's going to be more effective rather than you dump the rate, then eventually it's going to be hard. But again, it will have to be in one voice. You have to do equally the same strategy. Otherwise, if somebody start differently and dumping the rate, then some people is going to talk. To push in that area, and then eventually that hotel that decreasing the rate does not get any respect from others, and then the client says going to be the one day people is going to question, if you dump the rate, what would you do? Would you maintain the standard that you have? I don't think so. So this kind of thing that psychologically people will think about it. Yeah, and again, I've been talking to most of tour operators in United States and UK. Although this is a bad news for everybody, but the good news is that because of this pandemic, many people who is going to make a holiday, they are going to talk to travel agent, yeah, in their country, because this is the news that I want to share. Because now they want to be safe. If something wrong in the destination, I have somebody to blame. Yeah, online is being risky. It's hard to get the cancellations to get back in your bank if there is a cancellations. But with this strategy going through travel agent, like in the past, this is going to be more safe for them in a way of the booking, as well as something that now people asking, look, we have got information from Asita as well as the government of Bali. Some hotel already open, and then so we are planning to open in the 1st of June, and then some flight already booked by what I'm trying to say, and then I have booking in July now, it's still on. Yeah, and I told them, look, don't cancel it now. Let's see the next 2 or 3 weeks. What is happening? Yeah. Now this is a good hint, a good news that we talked to the hotels in Ubud, the 5-star, and then that's exactly what we are going to put strategy. A good thing. Four Seasons already committed.
Sorry, Pak Sugeng.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much. Before that, I just want to ask: do you have any questions for the panelists?
So far. Not at the moment until later. Yeah? Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for your insight. All right. Yeah. So for the panelists itself, like what Pak Sugeng was saying, that online booking is not safe, and he believes that direct booking through agent like him is the next thing which people feel very safe. What do you have to say about that?
I to some extent, to some great extent even, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I try to get a refund from an OTA for my trips to Amsterdam this month. It's been months I'm fighting with them, yeah, and still they cannot give me an answer, yeah, let alone the refund status, and it's very frustrating. So if you do it locally, you can just go and see the person and then talk to them. I think probably at this point in time it's easier, especially if you know the travel agents, if the travel agents your friends or something like that. With regards to pricing approach, we have been talking, instead of reduction of the rates, you can give add-on values, yeah. Because if your competitor starts lowering the rates, and then you also start lowering your rates, so there will be what is called presence dilemma, yeah. At the end of the day, all hotels will suffer more by lowering down the rates.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Andy, for your insights. Do we have any more questions on the floor? I guess there's no more questions for today's session. So, Mr. Andy, do we close the session?
Maybe you can wrap it up.
All right, let's wrap it up. So I wish to thank all participants for your time, where we hope you have benefited in terms of knowledge. I'd like to thank one more time to our panelists, Mr. Andy Ken, Mr. Yudi Prajaksa,
and
Sheldon.
Oh yeah, I need to say one thing more. Next week we will have Sherry Kimes as our speaker. So if you know her, she is a revenue management guru. Yeah, it's just like a Philip Kotler, the living legend in marketing, but Sherry Kimes is just like a living legend in revenue management. Yeah. So
Right.
so I really hope that you can attend next week.
Yeah, I think, Andy, for me, just to add on Sherry Kimes, I think for all those questions with regards to ADRs, should we reduce price? No demand, what to do? Ask her. She is a professor. So ask her. She would be the best to answer, not us. I mean, she will definitely give you a lot more insights. And she has definitely went through a lot of crises. I attended one of the seminars as well. She went through a lot of crises, and she would be the best person to attend. So I think for me personally, I look forward for your session next week, bro, with Sherry Kimes. I think that will be really insightful and really good for all you guys who doesn't know her. Google her up. She is awesome. I think we all should, make some time to attend that particular session next week.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for sharing, Andy and Sheldon, for supporting it. So once again, thank you to our panelists, Mr. Andy, Mr. Yugi Prajasa, Mr. Sheldon Maniam, and Ms. Nina Zan, for your expertise and your insights, and not forgetting the full commitment and dedicated staff of PNG staff, Putri, Chichi, Ayu, Novia, Widi, and my name is Shah, signing off now. Till we meet again to the next summit next week. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, everyone. See you